In the middle of the Saudi desert, they're building two parallel walls, 170 kilometers long, 500 meters tall, made entirely of mirrors. Inside, a city for 9 million people. No cars, no streets, zero carbon emissions. It's called the Line, and it was supposed to change the world. Except now, the money's gone. The bodies are piling up, and the whole thing is collapsing. This is the story of the most expensive failure in human history. Let us go back to 2017. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman MB stands in front of the world and unveils something that sounds like science fiction. NEO. A $500 billion megacity. Actually, scratch that. $1.5 trillion. The largest construction project ever attempted. At its center, Delan. Imagine a city 105 miles long but only 200 meters wide. Two skyscrapers lying on their side, facing each other across a gap. Everything you need within a 5-minute walk. A high-speed train underneath that gets you anywhere in 20 minutes. The project promised robots performing security and logistics, renewable energy powering everything, and a design where 95% of the land would be preserved for nature. It was audacious. It was impossible. It was exactly what Saudi Arabia needed the world to believe they could do. Because this wasn't really about building a city. This was about convincing the world that Saudi Arabia could survive without oil. But here's what they didn't tell you in those glossy renderings. The price tag started at $500 billion. Then reports suggested it could hit $1.5 trillion more than the entire Saudi sovereign wealth fund. The timeline, complete by 2030. They're already backing off. The initial plan to house over 1 million people by 2030 has been scaled back to 300,000, though even that seems unrealistic. And the construction, the line's modules dropped from 20 to 12, then 7, then 4, then 3. When it dropped to 3 modules, a senior construction manager said thousands of foundation piles became useless. What they've built after spending $50 billion is little more than a scratch across the desert, albeit the CEO, gone. Removed in November 2024 after accusations of corruption, racism, and reportedly telling one executive to walk into the desert to die so he could urinate on his grave. An internal audit found extensive problems, including evidence of deliberate manipulation by managers. By 2025, new contracts dried up and there was no mention of NEOM in Saudi Arabia's pre-budget statement for 2026. One former employee compared the whole operation to the Emperor's new clothes. But the real story? It's not about the money. It's about the people. To build NEOM, Saudi Arabia needed land. Empty land, according to their promotional videos. Except it wasn't empty. The Huaytid tribe has lived there for centuries. About 20,000 people. And when they refused to leave, Saudi Arabia made them an offer. Accept compensation and go, or face the consequences. A former intelligence officer revealed that security forces were ordered to use lethal force against anyone who resisted eviction. In April 2020, Abdulrahim al-Huwaidi posted videos saying he would defy eviction orders. He was later shot and killed by Saudi forces, who claimed he opened fire, first a claim disputed by his family, who said he didn't own firearms. At least 47 more tribe members were arrested. 15 received sentences ranging from 15 to 50 years. 3 were sentenced to death. In June 2025, the last remaining family in Al-Qaraiba village was forced out at gunpoint. The village is now completely empty. But it gets worse. An ITV documentary revealed that over 21,000 migrant workers from India, Bangladesh, and Nepal have died working on Saudi Vision 2030 projects since 2017. That's 8 deaths per day. Every single day. For 8 years, another 100,000 workers have reportedly gone missing. Workers describe 16-hour days, unpaid wages for months, and conditions they describe as being treated like beggars. So why is this trillion-dollar dream falling apart? Reason 1, physics. High temperatures, intense dust, erosion, water scarcity, and topographical challenges have made adhering to timelines extremely difficult. You can't just drop a mirrored skyscraper in the desert and expect it to work. Engineers working on the line admitted many features seemed implausible, from the start, like the chandelier, an upside-down building that was supposed to hang over a marina. Reason 2. Money. A senior construction manager told investigators that as modules dropped below 7, the project became without enough planned inhabitants. External investors won't touch it. Saudi Arabia would have to spend far more than the $1 trillion in its sovereign wealth fund to realize NEOM's full ambitions. Reason 3. Reality check. With falling oil prices and growing budget deficits, Saudi Arabia is redirecting resources away from real estate megaprojects. Work on the line has been scaled back to focus on completing just a 2.4-kilometer, stretching off to include a World Cup stadium. That's it. From 170 kilometers to 2.4 kilometers. That's not a city. That's a construction site with delusions of grandeur. Here's what keeps me up at night about NEOM. This wasn't just Saudi Arabia's attempt to build a futuristic city. This was their proof to the world and to themselves that they could move beyond oil, that they could compete with Dubai, with Singapore, with the West. And it's failing. The project has become a metaphor for Saudi Arabia's inability to throw off the past rather than a symbol of the future. Thousands of workers have died. Indigenous people have been killed or imprisoned. Over $50 billion has been spent. And for what? A scratch in the desert that may end up as a high-end hotel. The scary part, they're not stopping. The ski resort Laguna, scheduled to host the 2029 Asian Winter Games, is one of the few sites still moving ahead, though officials are now considering postponing to 2033. The line was supposed to be humanity's next chapter, a blueprint for sustainable cities, a vision of the future. Instead, it became proof that some things can't be built with money alone, not when they're built on a foundation of blood. If you want to understand why megaprojects fail and what really happens when ambition meets reality, hit subscribe. Because this story, it's far from over.